Welcome to today's collective reading. This is TrinityGaiaOracle, and let's just jump right in here to the reading. This is speaking of a past relationship that, like a past dream of a relationship, of a life that was very unhealthy for you. This relationship has been a teacher for you. Now the question is, are you willing to reflect on what you learned and implement it? Because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to experience a life where you wake up knowing that, you're happy, you're where you want to be, and you're wanted where you are. That you're not carrying it all on your own. That you have someone who will pick up the slack or take some of the load when it's just a bit much for you, so you can be a person, not be stuck in fight or flight all the time, trying to keep everything together. It may be something that, is a bit of a work in progress, but it's a work in progress because you don't know how to do that dance. And there's a bit of the hesitancy because you don't know it'll happen. And I want to tell you this because it is foundational. This past relationship, this broken dream, this past pattern, this past everything where you've learned exactly what love isn't, so you understand what love is. You actually do understand the steps. You just don't realize you do. You have a Queen of Cups in the upright here. You understand what love is because you know what it's not. Like, I know it's a bit of a repeat, but it's so multi-layered for you. So say you're waiting to hear from them and they haven't texted you and you don't know what's going to happen and you feel vulnerable and you're getting some kind of like triggering from past experiences and it all kind of comes up and it's overwhelming, so you just don't even want to go there. You don't even open to it. Because you don't know what they're going to do. And I'm going to tell you, I've been there. I didn't handle it as well as I thought I would have liked to have because I was young. I didn't know myself yet. The particular group of, masculines or assertive energies that are tuning in predominantly, you act, you get things done, you make things happen. You're at the point of every action in your life, you're the one who makes the decision and you protect those that you feel responsible for. Like, there's definitely an aspect where a fair majority of you are taking care of dependents. You have children, you have dependent parents that you care for, siblings. You are the provider in the essence that you make decisions to keep everything stable. You make it happen. Now, you could be a woman or you could be a man, but that is the energy that this reading is in, is the individual who carries that load. The world rests on your back. You are Atlas. You have learned what love is not, which means every situation that you could think of that would be like a negative, such as this, say you're waiting for that text message and you're worried about where this is going to go because this has happened before and it really was not good. Maybe it was way outside your expected experience of what you could possibly think would be happening. Like, wow, that has to be horribly painful because you still have found yourself trying to make it work anyway, living with that. Knowing your heart was broken and that it didn't matter to them. They'd say it mattered, but they wouldn't act like it mattered, right? Like that kind of a thing. Flip that. Actual love would be the exact opposite. You're waiting for a text message. They're late. You're worried. You don't know what's going on. You possibly give in a little bit and you start like calling around the people that you both know and try to find out what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. I'm going to give you two scenarios. One, she lost her phone. She's on her way, but there's an accident and she's kind of like stuck in this limbo while everybody slowly moves around it. She's on her way and she knows you're going to be in this emotional state, and she can't get to you. She can't reach you. Because the moment she shows up and you know the truth, you understand that she does not want to hurt you in any way, shape, or form, and you're probably going to have an emotional reaction of feeling ashamed of how you assumed that things would be bad, and that you even started asking people, right? Don't do that to yourself. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You went through something horrible. You went through something that you survived, and you are still brave enough to open your heart to love another person. That takes courage. Receptive energy that shows up for you knows this about you. Feel these things with her, and you will have someone that you will know in that moment and how she moves. And she is going to be a woman that makes you feel safe. Not less than, not weak, not any of that. There's actually some kind of a surprise waiting for you. This may be a little further down the dynamic of the relationship, where you've already possibly had a couple of, situations similar to this, but the problem with this dynamic will be that when you call your friends that you have in common and they say they don't know what's going on, they do. They're inside the venue with her, trying to finish everything perfectly, or they're waiting for something before they tell you to come inside. So you'll go in there and everybody that you have been like, man, like, how could you guys not say anything? Will be in there going, we adore you. Stop doubting us. We love you. But I'm going to be very honest with you. There will be a part of you that's like, y'all just lied to me. And I don't blame you either side of it. Either side of it. But that's possibly a heads up for further down the line if you do also resonate with the first scenario. But that could be something that's happening for another group within this collective now or soon. Either way, it's a good way to kind of figure out how would you feel, and then apply that to any situation you encounter with them, because you know what love isn't. For some, yes, it is like you've just gotten out of this bad experience and you're called to be alone in this time. But for those that resonated with these two, there's a bit of a crossroads here, which is bringing everyone really in this reading into, do I step into this new state of being, of moving, and do I open myself? Do I choose to allow myself to be receptive to the concept that I should be looking for the best possible conclusion at all times? Because it's going to feel quite a bit like you're just opening yourself completely wide open to being manipulated, because what you have experienced has been that painful. Oh, it's a metaphor is coming to mind from not the Wheel of Fortune, The Price is Right. And I think it's like Peggle or Pogo or something like that. Either way, he drops this disc in the top, and there's all these like evenly spaced spokes, and it kind of bounces all of the way down, and it'll land in any number of slot at the bottom. Some of it's like really a lot of money, some's none at all, some's like, varying degrees. So this is what's happening in your mind. You're processing each thing as it works down to the conclusion. In this space of solitude, that's what you're allowing yourself to do. You're not hyper-focusing on it. You're letting it basically buffer in some ways fully load, fully process. And then as you have little points of specific interest, you make a conscious decision there. All right, well then we're going to make a left here, and that takes us further this way. Definitely. Because sometimes it goes way off like in a whole other direction than you think it would. It doesn't go straight down. And that's because this space is a very emotional space for you. And the question is, what are you choosing? How are you choosing to view this? If your instinct is to view this from a perspective of self-defense, which is totally understandable given, the kind of relationship you were in, that, this reading has been about healing from. Flipping that completely is basically doing shadow work in a way. It's looking for the contrast, making agreements with yourself of if this, then that. If this, then that. You have discernment. You have a very sharp mind. And because you know the truth of what love is not, you have a very sharp intuition with this. You have a very good instinct with this. The only problem that you've had is that has been constantly being interfered with by this energy that very well, especially if you have children with them, that they are still exposing you to these kinds of experiences. They're still being mean, cruel, honest. I'm just going to come right out and say it. They're still being toxic and abusive. So they're interfering still because you're triggered by them and their behavior. Even if there isn't children and they're somehow still in your world, you're still being triggered by them. And that means you're reliving things that they did that were horrible to you. But you know the truth. You know that what they're doing is not love. So there is a relationship that you're moving into, or that you're in already, given the two examples that came through, where you know that they're not like this past person. But you're at that threshold of, if I really do open and I am receptive to this, will they turn into that? If they do something like that, you're not less than for having made that venture. You're actually stronger for having made that venture. Because if you make that venture and this individual, this person, has you kind of going, all right, I can be open, I can be vulnerable, I can show you this part of me, and then they do something shockingly horrible, you're capable of choosing to be open in spite of what your past person did to you. You learned from that past person, because this current person, when they do something that's horrible with a shock factor to it, you don't allow it to continue. You don't allow it to perpetuate itself. You learn by you setting that boundary and not letting it be crossed. They cross the boundary, they don't get to be in your energy. They don't get to be in your life. They don't get to be in your sphere. You are your own best friend. You are your strongest ally. You are your own happy place, your own peace. And you have learned, you have grown. The question is, are you going to give yourself credit for that? Because there's going to be someone else that comes into your life because you've proven you've learned. Okay, the next person will be pretty much manifested in the concept of, are you going to be open to the concept that they know you won't tolerate shit like that? They know this. You're very apparent with this. And you will be open, honest, vulnerable, truthful with them. And they will be this nurturing, loving, receptive, feminine energy. But you're choosing consciously, because it's within your power to do so, because you have learned from the two past relationships, the really bad one, this next one that you're kind of like, oh, I'm in it and I'm not sure and I'm scared. Me saying, so what happens if it doesn't work out? You will go on. You will still be putting one foot in front of the other. You will still be wanting a receptive feminine energy that makes you feel safe. You'll still want that as part of your desire to manifest this. So this next person, you know, are you open to them not doing anything shockingly horrible? Maybe you end up parting ways because you recognize that they're more your friend than they are life partner. Like maybe they're just a little bit over the friend mark enough to be your lover, but you're not passionate about them. So you're not truly living, and you desire that. To know more of who you are, because you don't know what they're going to say. You don't know what they're going to do. And you do know that it will be something that shocks you in the best way possible. And you will love that. You'll probably find it funny. When it happens, you'll be like, I love you. Like that kind of a, you're just like laughing and shaking your head. Just like, oh my gosh, you're such a dork. Or, you know, whatever. You'll be able to be kids with one another. That's what you're manifesting in every relationship that you prove that you've learned, that you've overcome. You, honestly, if you go from a horribly abusive relationship to one where they do one thing that's like too much and you just kick them to the curb, hey, you mastered that. You got boundaries down. Next, it's, you know, we're not really that. Like, that is a very steep learning curve. You are so much more than enough. You are incredibly worthy. You have so much love and loyalty within you to give. You're learning within you that you're loving yourself by not giving it or allowing it, or you know, like you're only willing to give that. You can only give that part of you to someone who does the same level of passion in contribution to the relationship as you. Maybe they work at the same place you do, or it's a small town and you guys go to the same church, or, you know, whatever. They may still try to rock the boat, but I'm going to tell you, once you're with this person that you're manifesting, nothing this past energy could do would rock the boat. In fact, if they tried to rock the boat, they'd only be hurting themselves, because it would be so obvious how unhinged they are to everyone. There may be legitimate legal factors coming into play, because this Ace of Swords, that is Archangel Michael's sword of truth. Who do you think the divine calls on to exact justice, to carry it out? I also want to point out that his partner, his counterpart, she's the Archangel of Faith. So if you have Archangel Michael energy, truth, justice, legal matters coming in, know that the feminine aspect to this dynamic, the receptive aspect that you're manifesting, is more than likely working with the Archangel of Faith. So you don't have to worry about this person being faithful to you. Love does not cheat. Love does not do the things that you experienced. The work that you have done, that you've overcome, the example you have set, the ripples of light, or the seeds that you have just by existing and going through this and others witnessing, the seeds that you've planted in them to be better human beings, to nurture their light more because they see you doing it, and they know that you went through hell, and well, they haven't gone through what you've gone through, so what is their excuse? You know, like these kinds of self-reflective things are seeds that are planted. When people begin to question their own experience as a result of observing yours, You have done a lot of good. This healing that is coming in for you, this individual, this partner will come in for you when you're free of those karmic patterns, in that you're not allowing them to be present in your new relationships anymore. Which then means you're actually ready for someone to be that faithful to you and show you all the ways in which you were once hurt that you won't be anymore. To heal every hurt. And I'm going to tell you too, this person's going to mirror you. So everything that you are like, wow, you're doing, like, you're healing me a lot, or like you're amazing, you're doing the same for them. So don't diminish your power. Don't question your worthiness or whether or not you're enough. Because the moment you encounter them, you're going to be very aware of how worthy they are and how enough they are, and how they too have questioned these things, and you will see yourself in them. And that concludes today's reading. The divine within me honors the divine within you. Namaste.